Hey everyone, it's Sunday and time for a new episode of Record Collecting with the Quill. Theme for today, Swedish Metal. I've been watching this great documentary on Swedish national television about Swedish hard rock and heavy metal, a 4-part documentary that goes through the whole history of Swedish metal. And it got me thinking, one of my favorite albums. They mentioned I think almost all of these in the series, but I think I've found a few curveballs at least. But before we start, you know the drill. Make sure you subscribe and hit that little notice bell and share with your friends. Whenever you do interviews with magazines or radio stations or whatever from other countries, they always ask about why Sweden is so successful when it comes to metal bands and hard rock bands. And when living in Sweden, I don't think you really think about it that way. But watching this documentary, really, it strikes you that there's quite a few bands that are really big, and I don't think people know in Sweden how big some of these bands are abroad. So really interesting. And I've been speaking to a lot of people that normally isn't into this type of music that watched this documentary and said the same thing. So it's an eye opener certainly for a lot of people. Starting out, first one I picked is one of the big bands. Picked this one out. In Flames album Clayman. This is before they sort of, with the album that came after this one, Reroute to Remain, they sort of changed their sound. This is sort of seen as their last sort of death metal album, but I think this one is really good. And if In Flames have always had great melodies, and you have arguably their biggest hit Only for the Weak on this one, but there's some other great tracks as well. You have Bullet Ride and Pinball Map and some others as well. Great one, really cool artwork as well, with this sort of 3D cover. I don't know if it doesn't work. It's similar to the one Kiss had on Psycho Circus. Next one, probably people usually rave about their earlier albums, but this one is a favorite of mine. Entombed from Stockholm, Morning Star. We played with them a few times around this time, and I'm particularly fond. Entombed has always, they've been sort of they were sort of seen as forefathers for the whole death metal scene, but they always had a swing to their music that I think sort of makes them a little bit different from other bands. They have sort of a rock and roll swing to it, probably from Nicky Andersson being one of the members, and he certainly has a great rock and roll vein as well. But this one is with Peter Stjärnvind on drums, which I'm a really big fan of. The drumming on this album is tremendous. There's some great songs on this one. So my next pick was Morning Star, Entombed. Back to Gothenburg. It's usually Gothenburg, Stockholm, I guess. This one, the Haunted. It says it should be The Haunted, but this is a Japanese copy with an obi that sort of, I put it in there so it doesn't get folded or anything. Their second album, The Haunted, made me do it. Big fan of this. The first one they did with Marco R on vocals. Great in the style of Slayer, I guess, and they recorded this. They were in Burner Studios just before. They were the band in the Burner Studios recording this one, and we came after to record Voodoo Caravan. And I love Burner's recordings there. This is an analog album, recorded analog on tape, and it's certainly, you can hear that, no triggers or anything. That's quite common in this type of music, but this one is great sounding and some great tunes. Hollow Ground, a little bit more mellow, but great melodies in it as well. So third pick, The Haunted, made me do it. And now back to Stockholm again. Opeth, Ghost Rivers, they made so many great albums, but I think this is sort of, they started out as pure death metal, and now they're sort of more of a prog rock. But I like them when they were sort of in between, and this one I think is sort of when they, it's best of both worlds. And what can you say about Mikael Åkerfeldt's writing? It's really intriguing and complex and interesting, and always twists and turns, and you can never sort of guess what's coming, and that's why I'm a huge fan of Opeth. So my what is it, fourth pick, Opeth, Ghost Reveries. Next one, this one is sort of close to the heart, I guess. The Arch Enemy, their third album, Burning Bridges, the last one with Johan on vocals, close to the heart, since I toured with Arch Enemy playing bass for parts of the touring cycle for this album. I did one show in England, and I did one in their first US tour as well, opening for Nevermore. And I think this is a great one. I think this might be the first one they recorded at Studio Fredman. Correct me if I'm wrong. And you can certainly hear the influences from the Gothenburg sound in this one. But some great tracks on this one. Immortal, Angel Claw, Silver Wing, a lot of great tunes on this one. Really fun to play, even though it was not totally up my alley. It was really fun playing those tunes and learning how to play death metal for I don't know, I was in the band for maybe 2 months or something. Great fun, and a great album, Burning Bridges. That was neither Stockholm or Gothenburg, that was Halmstad. So, back to Stockholm again. This is a classic one. The first Candlemass album, Epicus Domicus Metallicus. Certainly a huge influence in the whole doom scene. It's sort of Black Sabbath, and then comes nothing, then comes nothing, and then comes Candlemass. And this was, for a long time, really special, since it was the only album with Johan Landqvist, session singer, who sang on this one before they hooked up with Messiah. But now Johan is back in the band like 30 or 40 years later, and the comeback album was great as well. But the first one, this is sort of really important, and a huge... made a huge print in the whole doom scene, and a great album. Leif is a great songwriter. And I have my Candlemass t-shirt on me today to celebrate. So second to last pick, Candlemass, Epicus Domicus Metallicus. And last one, and they came to the same conclusion in the Swedish documentary about the most influential Swedish hard rock or metal album ever, is this one, At the Gates, Slaughter of the Soul. This is an album I bought, didn't really got the whole thing when it came out, but when I toured with him, I think it was Mike Amott who played me this one. And it's such a fantastic album, and such a great band with the Björla brothers. You have Adrian Allanson on drums. The drumming is amazing on this one, and great vocals from Thomas as well. And certainly this one, as I said, is always up there when you talk about influential Swedish metal albums, and there's a reason why. It is great. And once again, you have Fredrik Nordström, the great producer from Gothenburg. What is it? He was on this one. He did that one. And he did this one as well, I believe. Yeah. And he's done tons of good stuff. So, and it's good to see him get some recognition in the documentary as well, because he's really important to the whole Gothenburg sound, and a great character as well. He makes part of the Spiritual Beggars album, On Fire. I played on as well, so I got to meet him, and we mixed it in Studio Fredman. Great character and great guy. So those were my 7 picks for Swedish metal. What are your favorite ones? I would love to hear in the comment section. Favorite Swedish metal albums. There's the subject for today. Hope you enjoyed. See you all again next week. Make sure you subscribe or follow us on our social media. It's the QUILL Sweden. Next Sunday, we will be back with another subject. We'll see what the future will bring. But to that, up until then, Have a great week, and I'll see you again next week. Cheers. Bye.